then perhaps you need to subscribe and hit the notification icon. You're probably not going to want to do that because the thumbnail is just my chest, because, well, it doesn't matter. Let's crack on. This one is called the easiest way to improve your grade, so welcome. I hope you're going to find it really, really useful. The easiest way to improve your grade is my exam question playlist, or exam questions generally on YouTube altogether. So I'm going to explain how to use them just in a little while. I'm just going to say what's going to come up, and especially for those people who are watching a recorded version. Well, today I'm just going to talk about that, how to get the easiest way to improve your grade. I'm going to talk about set explains in A-levels, and I'm going to give you some advice on keeping kind of motivated through this period. The last thing I want to talk about is my journey to 10k subscribers and how you can help me out with that. All right, I did talk about I was going to do magnetism today, a quick run through magnetism, but I'm going to leave that for a couple of reasons, because it's a bit later than I wanted to start this, and because I want to keep these videos about 10 minutes long, because that's probably all that people are going to watch, as long as people are going to watch in that time. As a recorded thing, so I'm going to try and keep them about 10 minutes long. I will get to your questions though, so that's great if you're doing that. Okay, so the easiest way to improve your grade is to watch exam question playlists. And if you look down into the description, at any point during this, you'll find all I'm talking about, and you'll find the exam question playlists themselves. But you must, when you watch them, you must stay active on them. So I say just about in every single question, I say pause the video, have a go yourself. I'm going to tell you a little story with this, because I used to show YouTube videos in class. And you know what? It was absolutely pointless, because I would ask the kids the questions after that. I would say to the kids, right, what about this thing here? What about this thing here? And they'd all been listening really, really well. Well, they appeared to be anyway. They'd all been watching the video quietly, kind of following it along and everything like that. And I asked them questions about it, and they couldn't answer the simple questions of what the chap on the YouTube had just been through. They were normally Christopher Thornton, who's really, really great for GCSE stuff. Go check him out if you haven't found him already. Christopher Thornton, get that. He used to be Get That C in GCSE. He's now How to Succeed in Your GCSE. Great videos. And also free science lessons. And they're absolutely great, really, really detailed, cover the whole GCSE spec. Really find them excellent resources. But I used to play them, and I used to watch these kids watch them, and they couldn't answer the questions afterwards. So when you watch videos, you have to study them. You not just watch them, you have to actually study the videos, like they're textbooks, okay? They are resources, you want to study them, okay? So when you watch my exam questions playlists, which I think are the easiest way to improve your grade, make sure you actually think about the question. Make sure you actually have a go, even if it's only in just a thinking kind of way. If it's an algebra calculation one, then pause it and try and do the calculation on a bit of paper in front of you. I promise you that is going to be the easiest way to improve your grade. You need to know exactly how you're examining, so exam question playlists are the way to do that. Okay, you've got to really treat the videos like pages in a book. You have to study them like that. Okay. When you watch them, make sure that you keep a kind of list of the things you can do and you can't do, all right? Make sure that you kind of think to yourself, oh, actually, I couldn't do that question, I could have a go at it, and now I can do it by watching that video. Make sure that you keep a list of all the kind of areas, as you're going through those exam question playlists, all the areas of the syllabus that you think you need to revisit again, and then go ahead and revisit them. All right, so that's my easiest way to improve your grades. It's those exam question playlists, but it's being active on them and actually studying them. So, bit of motivation then, because it's getting really close. And I was really annoyed because YouTube deleted my 2 weeks to a grade A star. So I'm going to record that again, possibly this weekend, as a live feed again. But YouTube, they've apologised to me. It's okay, YouTube, you're working really hard for us, it's great. But they've apologised and they said, well, no, it was a technical error, but they deleted it and there's no way to get it back. So that was a really good video, and I'm going to explain that again, but it is linked up on my website. You can go ahead and you can still find the instructions 2 weeks to an A star. And I'll do that again for you guys, because I think that's a really good kind of method that you can go through to get yourself a really good grade. If not an A star, then definitely bump up your grade from where it is. Right, but why should you really should do this? Okay, you got to remember why you picked to do physics, why you picked to do triple science at GCSE, or A-level physics, okay? And you've got to remember that you want this. This grade, whatever it is something that you want. And you've got to think, right, this is my time now to succeed and get it. I can see people are counting down the number of days left to that exam, okay? You want this, okay? But it's also a subject that you should be absolutely loving, because it's a subject where you get to discover things. And doing those past papers, you'll learn so much by doing them. Doing that study, you'll learn so much by doing them. And in your lessons, you were discovering things, you were doing experiments. Science is about finding stuff out, doing experiments to find stuff out. And I hope that you've been absolutely loving it, right? It's a subject where you get to do experiments. And it's the subject, it's the most important subject. It's the subject where you're going to get to save the human race from extinction. And that is such a crucial thing, okay? You want this so you can be a part of that scientific community. You want this as a facilitating to you get to your dream university and your course that you want to do. All right, so you can do this. Believe in yourself. Back yourself to do that. Back yourself to do that. Right, here's the set explains bit. Here is a really easy way to improve your A-level physics grade. It does make sense for GCSE, okay? I've linked it up in the description below there. There's a page on my website which has just got a list of set explain questions. They're questions that when you look through mark schemes, they come up time and time again, the exact same answer, basically, right? And I've got 2 of them for you now, but just a taster of the type of thing you can expect on my website on that page that's going to actually, and how that's going to actually help you in your exam. So almost every series of exams, they ask this question, something like, explain what is meant by the term standard candle. Okay, now they might be buried in a context. Okay, it might be talking about measuring a star at a great distance. Okay, in which case you need to think, that's standard candle. How are they going to do that? So the first mark might be standard candle, or it might say, define what is meant by standard candle. Now, a standard candle is an object of known luminosity, which is the power output at a source. So we know how much power that thing is giving out at a source. So you just memorize known luminosity for the explain question. Measured brightness. So we sit here on Earth and we measure the brightness, okay? And then the distance is calculated using an inverse square law. And this is the law that you're going to remember this all by, because this is in your formula sheet, okay? The intensity, that's the brightness here on Earth, is the luminosity over 4 pi d squared. D being the distance and the inverse square law being d squared there, okay? So that's one example. You just need to memorize that level of detail in that explained question. And when a standard candle comes up, you just bang down those 3 points. The next one is resonance. So it might be define what is meant by the term resonance. And you bang down these points. It might be the first mark is for you realizing, that's an example of resonance. So you're looking for something where a driving frequency is causing an oscillation. You remember these points. Resonance is when the driving frequency of something, so something is causing an oscillation, matches the natural frequency of something which is oscillating because of that. So that's your first point. The driving frequency matches the natural frequency of the object. There is a maximum energy transfer. There's the most efficient energy transfer when the driving frequency is equal to the natural frequency. Therefore, there's a rapid increase in amplitude. If you memorize these questions, these set explains, you don't need to do any thinking, because you just mark, mark, mark. And you can guarantee that is going to be the case, okay? There is going to be a lot of explain questions for which the answer to is on that page of set explains on my website. So go ahead and get there. My last little bit then, and then I'll have a little look through the questions, because I can see there's some really good ones up there. Then help me with my journey to 10K. Okay, some of you are doing your last year, either in GCSE or A-level. So can you, if you found my channel useful, can you share it out? Maybe just share this live feed out, okay, once it's not live. Share it out and send it out to someone. I found this really good channel. This can really help you with your grades. This is the best way, the easiest way to improve your grade. Can you maybe, if you're a member of the student room, I can't post my own links. I'm not allowed to on student room because it's for students to do that. Maybe is there something you can put on the Edexcel A-level thread, AQA A-level thread, OCR GCSE thread? Here's the exam question playlist. That's a really good way to do it. That would really, really help me out. And guys, I love having this channel. Okay, I really do. Really appreciate you guys. I really enjoy your comments. I really love it when you say thank you as well. That really does, absolutely make my day. It's why I'm bothering to sit here at 5:45 in the evening and do you a quick live feed. But you can say thank you in a more meaningful way, really, just by helping me spread that message and make me more useful to more people. All right, dudes, I'm going to have a little look through the feed now. All this chat that you've been doing, there's a few questions in here, I know that. There's a lot of chat about Arsene Wenger, who's a hugely successful manager, and you should be really, really pleased and grateful for his service to your club if you're an Arsenal fan. Any point in doing old spec papers? Yeah, definitely. From the kind of point of solving problems, even in maths as well. I was talking to some maths teachers and said, yeah, it is useful just from the point of practicing questions, but you need to know exactly what's going to come up in your spec and do as many from the current specs as possible. In fact, it's probably just as useful to do OCR and AQA and EdXL from the new specs, because what's in the new specs is all quite similar across them. So actually that's perhaps more useful than past papers, is looking at different exam board specs. It goes for maths as well. Why doesn't free science lessons? You'd have to ask him. He's good, isn't he, though? They're short, they're snappy, they're well planned out. It's not the kind of style I went for when I started this channel. I kind of wanted a little bit more kind of conversational, a little bit more kind of personal, a little bit more like question answer like this. I think that their style was really, really good, though. Maybe it's something he's considering in the future. Maybe he's thinking, right, I'll do all the new GCSEs, and then I'll go ahead and do some A-level stuff. I don't know. I get the feeling he's a chemist. I don't know why. Okay. Do you think it's worth making notes from videos? No, except in that kind of like being evaluative on yourself. Like, do you think, the notes like, oh, I need to look over this section, or I don't know how to do this skill. I need to practice some questions on that. Is it better to watch and then do topical questions? Yeah, definitely. I don't think, kind of transcribing videos, unless you want to go into my videos and transcribe into a different language, that'd be really, or type out the subtitles, that would be really useful. It might be really useful to you. It does actually help us to get our videos out to more kind of countries in different languages. If they're typed out in English, they get translated to that, but you don't need to worry about that. I kind of agree. I don't think they're useless notes. There was a technique, I'm going to struggle to, Ebbinghaus system. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's about a forgetting curve, which is, Ebbinghaus talked about, well, whatever you learn, you're going to forget it on this kind of curve. It's like an exponential shape of curve. You probably know about that. And you can stop that by periodically revisiting the topic. And his kind of system of making notes was make notes fully detailed, absolutely everything in there, then repeat that at like another 2 weeks or something, but make the notes more concise. So just strip out a lot of the kind of less important stuff, just try and make it more concise. And then repeat that again, and maybe take it down to just a set of bullet points, and then repeat it again, take it down to a set of key words. So by doing something with the notes, that's useful. If you want to make notes, if that makes you feel comfortable and you've got the time to do it, then that's fine, but make sure you do something with the notes. Don't just make the notes and think that the exercise of making the notes is going to help you much in your GCSE or A-level. Use the notes to do something else. And if you don't want to make notes, haven't got time to do that, then just use revision guides, which are notes ready to go. What exam board am I doing? Well, so at my school we do OCR Gateway and we do EdXL A-level. So OCR GCSE, OCR A it's called, and EdXL A-level. I like them both. There's not a lot of difference between all the GCSE specs now. The EdXL tends to be the most challenging one, but I like it because I can use the Salters Horner's resources, which are really good because they teach through a context rather than just through content. And often it's the hardest thing that people find in A-level is the context rather than the content. All right, buds, I think that's about it. How can I get it? I've got a video called How to Get a Grade 8 or 9 in GCSE Physics, so I suggest you go ahead and do that. I think that's probably in fact, there's a whole playlist called How to Get a Grade 8 and 9, which will be in the description, or if you go to my channel homepage, that will help you explain that. There's loads of different things you can do. The important thing now is to be working really hard. The revision always pays off. How hard you're working is proportional to the grade you're going to get. Core maths stuff, yeah, just do all the past papers. Maths is easy, really. Sorry, sorry if you find it difficult. How to do better in MCQs. I think that's a great idea, how to do better in MCQs. I think I'll save that for another live feed if that's all right with you, and I'll have a think about it for you. I think that's a great idea. Definitely all of the exam playlists that I've got start with some MCQs, so that would be a good start. And I talk about strategies for doing MCQs there, but I'll think about something I can sort of generally tell you about that. It's going to once again be about finding the things to practice. Oh, is the live stream free? No, it's all right. Okay, I'm running off my 4G here, which I'm in quite rural England, so the 4G is not going to be perfect. Yeah, no, look, don't worry about the threshold for the, the exam, the grade boundaries too much. Just try and get your very best, guys. Yeah, just try and get your very best score. And they're not going to be very, very high because they're new specs. Okay, AS level, yeah, it's going to be, look at what, if it's A level, then you can look at last year's and add about like maybe 3% or something like that. Yeah, as I say, there's loads of tips for grade 9s in that playlist, but I'll definitely be mentioning lots of grade 9 tips and A-star tips over the next few weeks. Edexcel is hard. Only a few schools do it. That's right. It tends to be, people will see an A in Edexcel and know that it's kind of it's kind of as good, if you like, as an A-star in some other subjects, some other exam boards. But that's a very arrogant thing to say. You know what? A-level physics is really hard, whichever one you do. Okay, I really enjoy it. It's the one that I'm used to, so I think we all have our favourites, and they're based more than anything about based more on what we're used to and what we feel comfortable teaching and the kind of structure that we're used to. I really like the resources that come with Edexcel, so that's why I've stuck with it. Guys, it's been brilliant. I do really enjoy this, as I said. Help me out, get into 10K. Go ahead, go on, take a playlist, just take a link and stick it up on a board somewhere where this is really helping me. But more importantly than that, go ahead and do the easiest thing, which is to go through those exam playlists. And frankly, my exam playlists, they should be my highest watch videos, and they're not. My highest watch videos are always, how can you get an A-star in this? How can you get a grade 8 and 9 and everything like that, which is just kind of clickbaity stuff, all right? So that's a great idea. Put it in your assembly. You're doing an assembly in school. That's really, really cool. All right. I hope it goes well for you. I know you're going to be nervous, but everyone's going to want to see you do well. So, assemblies, talking to a whole year group, maybe that's tricky. Okay, that'd be really great. Yeah, just to shout out, and all those other great YouTubers that are out there. Spread the word, because I always get the kind of comment that is like, "Wow, this is so useful. I wish I'd seen this earlier on in my studies." And if you guys would just share us out. Tell each other, don't be shy. You're all working hard. We know that. Don't be shy, and share that out. Wow, I'm nowhere near 10 minutes, but it's been great fun. Thanks.